Hey guys, and welcome to the first episode of a new series that I'm calling P&L. If you don't know who I am, my name is Michael Nauss. I'm a chartered market technician and quantitative trader. If you missed the full intro explaining this new series, link is in the description below, and there's probably a card popping up somewhere here as well. But simply put, every episode I'm going to go through two trades. I'm going to go through one winner and one loser. And the reason for that is I've been asked to do more live trading content on the channel, and I want to make sure that everybody knows that there is losers, but videos on their own, they're bad content because you buy the stock, you get stopped out, and there's really nothing to learn from it other than it's time to move on. So in this series, you're going to see both, just so we're always reminded there are losers and how to deal with them. So I trade crypto, FX, stocks, futures. If there's a chart, I'll trade it. But in this episode, we are going to talk about two FX trades, both on US dollar Canadian pair. One profitable one that netted about $600, give or take, and one loser that lost about $3. So right now on the screen, you'll actually be seeing the screenshot from MT5, which is the trading platform I use for the firm that I trade FX with. And the blue arrows and the red arrows with the little line between just denote where the entry and exit was on each of these trades. And on the bottom, you can see I highlighted the profitable trade we're going to be talking about and then the loss we're going to be talking about. So let's just get into the charts. So here we are on the pair. I think this one will be easy one to go through because it's the same security and it happened right back to back, so that's fantastic. But I have been looking at and I have been noting this massive rounded bottom that's been happening on USD CAD for years now. It's been almost 2 years of just basing and pushing through this area. And you can see this kind of 128, 129 area has been resistance. I've highlighted this with arrows as well. And even you can see the note that I left for the Stats Edge Pro members. Again, link in the description for that below. So we had a little breakout and a failure, and then we had another breakout here, and then a little bit of a pullback, but we were holding for a period of time above this shaded gray area, which is the resistance. So the idea is what one was resistance now may be as support. I always then zoom into a lower time frame for actually entry and exits, and you can see kind of the plan that I put on right here. So it's actually, we're going to remove this and we're going to add this in here. So the first entry was right here. You can see the candles look a little bit different. I wonder if they use a different 4-hour reset time frame, but doesn't matter. The prices are the same. So we had this massive strong move on the Canadian dollars, which corresponded with just a collapse in oil. And then we had kind of pulled back into this area, which was the anchored VWAP from this prior high. You can see how pronounced this high is. And we were holding that with a little bit of kind of a bottoming tail, seeing some support in that area. So I figured a purchase in here with a stop kind of in or below this area down here would be an interesting place for a trade. I took that shot and we chopped around for a long time, you can see, before we actually continued and ramped higher. As we were ramping higher, I exited the position, seeing that we were a little bit overdone here. So my risk on this trade was about $300, which is about 1% of the equity in that account, not the total buying power, but the equity in that account. So I risked 300. I made 600 on that particular trade. Now, some takeaways on it. I need to get better with MT5 on entering in lots so that I can sell in lots. Some FX traders may understand it's really hard to kind of sell in parts. You can do hedging and stuff like that, but I need to get better. Instead of buying the full position that I want at once, is just buy like 3 or 4 lots so I could exit, even though there really wasn't much else left in it. It was mainly this thing was ramping and then it was starting to come back down, and as it started to come back down, I said, okay, I'm at 2 times my risk, let me take this and see if I can get a better price. So over the next little bit, we pulled back into this area. So I made a second entry right here, which corresponds with the anchored VWAP from this high right here. And you can't really see it on this chart, but on the other chart, you saw there was some 4-hour bottoming tails. And then we had this kind of congestion area, which we broke out of. So the idea was a breakout, a pullback into that area, that on top of the fact that we know the longer time frame I'm bullish on, and that we had this anchored VWAP. So I had those three things working for me on this particular trade. So I took the entry. The stop was a little bit above this high, theory being that, above this low, theory being that if we got to this low right here, we would probably break down and continue. And it came down and it took the exit. So I was out of the position. Also corresponded with breaking below this same anchored VWAP that I played off of before. So using that second anchored VWAP along with the support area as an area to get out and just say, hey, we're wrong. So you guys can see why an entire video about the loser wouldn't make any sense, because I took the shot. I thought it was a good shot to take. It was a trend continuation pullback play. I would take that shot 100 times out of 100. It just didn't work. I got stopped out and I moved on. So I'll flash the P&L, the total P&L calculation up on the screen here. But the important thing that I always want to note, and hopefully if it's not, I'll be honest with it, but that we always want to see with taking two trades like this, is that even though it's one winner, one loser, 50-50 win rate, I walk away with a decent little profit. So again, if you guys are interested in this kind of content, if you like this style of video, please like it, share it around, comment, all of those things. I really do read everything that you guys put out. I see all the feedback that you give, both positive and negative, and I use that to kind of guide the channel and figure out what it is I want to do next. I think it's a good idea. I think it's a good way for you guys to see a breakdown of a trading idea. But again, feedback is always welcome. I'll talk to you guys soon, and trade safe.